I think there will be so many things to do and so many different ways to explore CP. Like, because on top of the open world and the interactive story, we have the full character customization. So you can really be who you want to be in the game, and then we have the freedom of gameplay. So the fluid class system, and so the way to tackle quests will be very different than The Witcher, and I think there will be a lot of sort of repetitive takes on certain quests. Yeah. But yeah, we definitely would like to tell more stories in Cyberpunk world. So.
Now, one of the big reveals that Keanu did at the press conference was release date. I think everyone's excited to have a target date there, or the date it's coming out. And you've been, publicly a couple weeks ago, you talked a lot about, the idea of sort of crunch and development and the challenges of big teams, building these games and the sheer effort that needs to go into building this thing. This is a long project for you guys to sort of build this. Feels like you're kind of finally getting towards the end. Can you maybe talk a bit about sort of, your philosophy of kind of development and, the effort that it takes to get a game this big ready for next April, and knowing that, targeting that and planning that out and making sure that people are still, not crunching to get there.
The more games we release, I think the better we are with the planning. But again, the beauty and the tough part of games development is that all the pieces are constantly moving and being updated and upgraded. So you have new technology. It's not like the cameras. Like you maybe have a new version once in a while, but it's still the same thing. Here we have new platforms, new technologies, and there are constantly coming new things. So actually, especially in terms of the final stages, we never can anticipate, how many bugs we'll have. I think we can plan that we'll have way more than we've planned, but that's as far as we can go. But I think we are managing quite well, and the team is bigger, so we can share the load better as well.
Yeah. So you think, of CDPR 5 years from now, is your goal, as you said, to have, 2 teams? I mean, I think it's, obviously fans want more Witcher, right? And right now it's kind of like, hey, we're working on Cyberpunk. And do you think it's more like you're going to alternate franchises, or do you have a sense of how that's going to evolve, or it's too early to know?
Yeah, I think, we have a plan, but I think what's
he's not going to share it here.
Yeah. Okay, let me go home then.
No, but I think what's interesting, I think, is that the fans.
Yeah, just I want to tell you a little bit how we approach it, because obviously we have a plan and we know what we want to do, but then we look at things and actually we're really looking how gamers receive what we release, how they like it, and then we actually tweak the plans. So yes, we would laugh at certain points to tell more stories about The Witcher, but when and how, I cannot tell you now. So it is the CP now, and then once we finish the game, and hopefully you all guys like it, then we see, okay, so that's where we are, that's what we've learned, and right now we are taking it further, because one thing which I hope is visible, we are not a games factory. We treat games as an art, and we want to push the bar higher with every single game release. So it's not about getting Witcher 3.5 out there, which would be fairly easy. Of course, it's still very difficult, but I know using the same engine, telling the same stories, the technology is established, and making a quick dollar. That's not about it. That's why we are working on CP right now. And I think this will open a lot of new possibilities for us, and we'll learn a lot in due course, and then we'll be able to take this learning and hopefully, work on more great stuff. So ultimately, it's about delivering new amazing gaming experiences with stories and pushing the gaming and the gameplay further. I think it's a very vague statement, but this is really our philosophy. And actually, like, I'm quite often laughing that if we would film our board meetings, it could be perceived as a freak show, because people expect it to be like, serious guys sitting in suits and
here's the
making
plan.
some calculations in Excel. There is a master plan, and sometimes we turn things upside down and we throw things away, and you know, we really play with it. For us it's fun, and we really want to do kick-ass stuff, and at a certain moment, if won't be able to do it, this will become really boring. So expect the unexpected.
Although we can expect Cyberpunk April next year, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, tell us a bit about, to wrap up, picking that date, putting it out there. That's a very public statement of thinking you're going to hit that date. So what is the kind of state of development now? I mean, the game is, can you kind of play through it and the team's feeling pretty good about it?
Yes. I mean, we feel very good about it. And obviously the polishing part, this is always the most challenging, and it's hard to see, but it's based on the new Red engine, our own proprietary technology that we've again reworked to a huge extent. So you will see quite some amazing bells and whistles graphically. That's also important, but we always treat it as a part of the storytelling. So we're quite confident right now, and we'll be working hard to deliver it on time for you guys.
And in terms of the scale of that, you talked about Keanu, how many lives, is there any sense of compared to Witcher, how much dialogue there is, or the scale of sort of the experience and how much there is in there?
So actually, we had this question asked a lot, and as the game is not
finished yet,
it's not finished. It's really hard to give you a number, and also I think first of all it will be huge, so no shortcuts here for sure. And then the exploration is not only vertical but horizontal with the mega stage. So actually, we'll have to have things really close to be able to make any calculations, and then it will highly depend on the gameplay style. So it will be probably different when you'll be just butchering through with the strong solo and just shooting your way through the game, and it will be different when you'll be hacking as a netrunner. So very different experience.
From a dialogue perspective, do you have a sense of how much story is there?
Yeah, it's huge. I think Witcher-ish kind of story. So numbers.
No numbers. Not going to hold you down. But no, I got to say, this game is clearly one of the most anticipated out there, and I think what's great is it looks so fresh and captures the imagination, but it comes from a studio that's coming off Witcher 3, which won Game of the Year. For you guys to follow up with this is it gets us all excited, I think, about where games are going. So thank you so much for coming by. Thanks to you and everyone at CDPR for pushing our industry forward continually, and we look forward to playing it next April. Guys, give it up. Mark from CD Projekt Red. Thank you very much. Thanks, man.